guys, glory to Jesus Christ. So, in about 12 hours, I am going to be testifying in court on behalf of someone that I met in the Pennsylvania prison system, who is now being tried for an offense in New Jersey that is several years old, by the way. So this offense was actually committed prior to his most recent incarceration. I need to practice what I'm going to say to the judge. I always like to go in there having run through it a couple times. So that's the purpose of this video. If you want to be a fly on the wall and watch, awesome. If not, cool. And either way, I will let you guys know what happens. Tomorrow, I believe it's at 1:30 is when we're supposed to get started with this. So, think some good thoughts and prayers for my friend, please, during that time. So, without further yammering, here's what I'm going to be saying to the judge. So, Your Honor, glory to Jesus Christ. My name is Daria, and I am an Orthodox Christian prison missionary. I met the defendant approximately 3 years ago when he was incarcerated at the Bucks County Correctional Facility. During that time, I saw him on average once a week. He was a faithful attendee at the Wednesday night church services that are administered by my volunteer program. And he quickly established a rapport with me, and I came to understand quickly that he is a kind and compassionate person. He was also a broken man when I first met him. He was in the throes of heroin addiction. He was suicidal. He hated himself, didn't respect himself, had no real respect for anyone around him either, because he was clouded with this, miasma of drug addiction and despondency and depression. Since that time, glory to God, he has made incredible progress. He has really taken correction to heart and has done what I personally pray more individuals who are convicted of drug offenses will do, which is to say he's been clean for 2 years. He's purchased a car and is making regular payments on the car. He is a full-time college student. He has a 4.0 average. And he has a full-time job. And he has a clean and sober living situation with his parents. The difference between his life and his outlook right now and his life and outlook when I first met him are not even on the same planet. So here is an individual who has humbly acknowledged that he was a drug addict and that he needed serious intensive help. And he also, by the way, understood that he had committed crimes. And he was not trying to blame those crimes on anyone but himself, and he was not trying to come off as a victim. I see a lot of that. And I know I don't need to tell you that. Of course, you see more than I do. There's a lot of blaming of other people that goes on. Well, Mr. Defendant has never done that. And that's one of the things that caused me to develop such respect for him, was because he knew things needed to change. And look at the change that has happened. What a beautiful 180-degree about face. Now, we're here today because he committed a crime. He committed a crime in which 2 people were seriously injured, apart from him. And being nice and kind and generous doesn't negate that. But I'm here to beg you, not for leniency, because that, in my mind, connotes lack of responsibility. I'm here to beg the court for compassionate sentencing. Because compassion involves acceptance of personal responsibility. I believe very strongly, Your Honor, that if Mr. Defendant is put back in prison, that the odds of him slipping back into his old drug-addicted lifestyle are astronomically high. He will have his car repossessed. He will have to forfeit his college tuition that has already been prepaid for next semester. He will, of course, lose his sober living situation. He will lose his job, and therefore his income. And he will be 24/7 around drug dealers and drug addicts. So often in this country, Your Honor, I feel that the judicial system, the corrections system, should be called the vindictive punishment system, because that's really how so many of us view this. But in my opinion, Your Honor, it shouldn't be that way. And I believe that the only way to ensure that Mr. Defendant does not do this again is to keep him on this good, positive path. This is the path, speaking personally, that I want every drug addict I meet to walk. And I believe that the only way to stack the odds in the favor of society that he will no longer be committing criminal acts such as this is to keep him on that path that he's walking right now. It's not to throw him off and make him start again. Because as you and I both understand, heroin addiction is just about as bad as anything on earth. It's extremely difficult to overcome it. And by God's grace, Mr. Defendant has. He's been clean for over 2 years. He has never failed a random drug test, not once. So, Your Honor, I'm here to beg you to allow him to continue on that road of recovery and to build on that momentum that he has. Because I feel that at this point, he is not a burden on society. He is not a liability. He is an asset. He is a producer. He is somebody who is contributing valuable energy to our society. We need people like that. So, I ask you to sentence him to probation. Thank you. Alright, so that's about it. So we're going to see what happens. The only concern that I have about this is you never know who's going to show up in the courtroom. You never know if the victims are going to be there. And you never know if the victims are going to want to speak. And of course they're allowed to speak, you know. And that can really have a very deep psychological and emotional impact on the judge. As well it should. But that's kind of the only thing I'm a little bit concerned about. Because it turns out that the injuries to these victims were much more severe than I realized. That they had, you know, I think one of them needed bone grafts. So, if they're there and they speak compellingly, or if they have submitted a letter and the letter is compelling, that could weigh heavily on the judge's decision. And I suppose it should. This is a weird position I feel like I'm in, because of course I can remove myself from it and say, okay, well, you know, there was a crime committed, blah, 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 this is what the law says, but also, you know, in my heart, in my mind, in my personal experience of the defendant, I can say, but look, ultimately, what is the goal? The goal is to get addicts off of their drugs. The goal is to make them productive members of society. He's doing it. Please don't make him stop, you know. So, I will let you guys know what happens. Please pray for me that I don't trip over my own tongue. And please pray for my friend. And thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button. I know you're already maybe subscribed. If you're not, fix it. But even if you are subscribed, please hit the like button. It really helps. Okay? And pray for me. Please, please, please pray for me. I will pray for you. And I'll let you know what happens tomorrow night. Bye.